Hello guys, welcome back to Racketology. My name is Zach and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your head guard and bumper grommet set. This one is going to be from a little bit of an older racket, my old Prince Tour Diablos, but they're kind of the only ones that I have with these messed up grommets. Most of the other ones I take pretty good care of the grommet section, so I figured I should choose one that actually needs replacing. All that you're going to need for this demonstration is going to be an awl and pliers optionally, just to pull off the old head guard or sometimes to make some slight adjustments with the new one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that we go ahead and have our racket, I always like to make sure that the butt cap of it is going to be facing up, right? That's just going to be a preference for it. So that way whenever we actually remove the grommets here, so I'm just going to go ahead and start popping them out. But I know the exact way that I took out the grommets. Now, this isn't too important for a racket like this one, just because the racket grommets are not that complex in comparison to some others. Some of them will have more pieces and will have only certain ways that they could be applied on there, especially if they have directional stringing. But this one doesn't have anything like that. So it works a little bit easier, and some of these will kind of give you sometimes a little bit of trouble, especially around the flared areas. But so just keep on pulling them out. And see, I'm kind of layering them out so that way I know what's on my left side, what's on my right side, and then what's going to be here at my bottom. So last one is just going to be the head guard, which as you can see is pretty torn up and everything, so that's why we're replacing it. And there we go. So now that we have everything removed, you see there's kind of a little bit of dirt in there, and you don't typically get to get underneath that part of the racket. So what I always like to do is go ahead and take out a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of some paper towels here, and I'm just going to take one, wet it with some of the alcohol, and go around the frame to make sure that it's nice and clean. Get just a lot of that dirt off. That way. Yeah, you see I was collecting all that dirt there, so it's all pretty good. You know, you don't get too much opportunity to do this unless you're actually changing out your grommets. So, awesome. Well, now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and start putting in our new grommets. So, I'm going to take it from this one. So I know that that's the same for the top. And that's going to be the same for the sides right there. And that's going to be our bottom piece. So once you finally got that all organized, once again, make sure that you have it on the right side. So mine's flipped a little bit, but there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the easiest parts first. And some of these you can just fit in just with your fingers. I mean, some of these are going to be easy grommets that you can really just kind of slip on in, right? And some other ones will be more difficult, you know, especially if you're dealing with other different rackets. It can really be a pain. Certain ones are not that easy to do. But you see, I'm just kind of working my fingers around, making sure they kind of snap back in place where they're supposed to go, and make sure they pop out evenly. As you can see. And this one's kind of getting caught right in the frame. Are you able to kind of zoom in a little bit more on that one? See how it's kind of getting caught in that frame, and even if I'm going to try to force it, it's going to flare out that grommet. So I'm going to go ahead and just maneuver it with my awl and make sure that I kind of adjust it right in place. And there we go. See? Then it's able to just pop right back out in place. So then we have our next grommet. Just going to go right over here. Once again, just fit it in with your fingers. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder, but it just depends. So we've got a couple more on this side. And another technique that you can kind of do is kind of keep the frame a little bit pointed down against the surface that you're going against, and then use your awl to just straighten them. And you see how they kind of just pop in on their own? So there we go. Get that last one. Make sure not to scratch or marre the frame while doing it. There we go. Okay. Last but not least, our head guard. So some people start from either one side, or some people actually will start from the middle. Just depends. I've found that it really just depends on the head guard that you're fitting in. Some of them can be really easy to fit from the side. Other ones can be really finicky because they fit so tight that it's almost like you have to fit it from the middle almost. But you'll see with some other ones out there. So but you can see, just working my way down it. And just take your time, make sure you're not going to be stabbing any part of the frame and making it worse for the customer if you're dealing with the customer frame or your own frame, because he wants to scratch their own frame. See, and I'm just applying light pressure. I'm not, forcing the frame down super hard against the surface that it's at. I'm just working it down. All right. There we go. Just making sure everything's nice and tight in there. And as you can see, that head guard is now installed. So there we go. Now it's nice and protected in the places that we need it, and the grommet section is all nice and put in. So hopefully that's been helpful to you guys. And if you have any more questions, feel free to just go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll try to answer it as best I can. All right. Take care. Thank you for making it to the end of this video, guys. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date on all the other content that we're going to be posting. So, of course, it's mostly going to be stringing, but, I don't mind doing reviews or anything like that. Go ahead and leave a comment, too. I like to always know what exactly you guys want me to perhaps take on next or show you guys in full detail. I just love stringing and hope to be able to share it with more people. Well, other than that, guys, take care and happy hitting.